Get ready to reimagine the future of humanity and unlock your true potential. Welcome to Reimagining Humanity's Future and Yours, hosted by Dr. David Gruder, an internationally renowned integrative psychologist, human potential expert, author, and social change catalyst, as he delves into the most urgent issues of our time. With the world facing unprecedented challenges and social and political divides growing deeper, it's time to take action. Each episode of this groundbreaking series will empower you with invaluable insights, strategies, and tools to heal these divisions and restore personal freedom and societal well-being. Whether you're a concerned citizen, a courageous leader, an influential figure, or an ambitious entrepreneur, Reimagining Humanity's Future and Yours will guide you on a transformative journey. Discover your unique role in creating a brighter future for yourself and society at large. Dr. David Gruder will draw upon his extensive knowledge and experience to provide practical solutions for shaping the world we live in. With his passionate exploration of social change, he will help you navigate through the complexities of our time and inspire you to make a meaningful impact. So, prepare yourself for an eye-opening experience as we delve deep into the heart of the matter. Reimagining Humanity's Future and Yours will challenge your perspectives, ignite your imagination, and equip you with the tools you need to reimagine and redefine the world around you. The time to transform our future is now. Join us on this incredible journey and enter a new era of possibility. For more information on Dr. David Gruder and the Reimagining Humanity's Future and Yours, visit www.rhfy.ca. Welcome to Reimagining Humanity's Future and Yours, where together, we create a brighter tomorrow. Now, here is the host of Reimagining Humanity's Future and Yours, Dr. David Gruder.
Well, welcome back to the Reimagining Humanity's Future and Yours show on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Dr. David Gruder, the polymath of human potential, societal psychotherapist, and futurist, who equips leading-edge leaders, influencers, helping professionals, and you with vital resources that make it possible for humanity's most spiritually elevated future to at last emerge. The title of this episode is Reimagining Exit Planning: Succession Tactics That Future-Proof Organizational Success and Longevity. How do winning organizations future-proof success? By mastering wise succession and exit planning, treating succession as a leadership system and ongoing maturity journey, mapping career pathways to boost retention and protect exit value, and treasuring institutional knowledge as an undervalued asset. In this episode, we uncover why most businesses overlook these critical keys, and you'll gain practical strategies to make robust succession decisions that safeguard value and ensure longevity. Illuminating all of this is my guest for this episode, Lisa L. Levy. She is the founder and CEO of Lcubed Consulting, a strategic advisory firm dedicated to helping organizations align people, processes, and technology for greater agility, operational efficiency, and long-term resilience. With deep expertise in project management, process improvement, change management, risk mitigation, and organizational transformation, Lisa guides executive teams and boards towards sustainable success in disruptive environments. She's the best-selling author of Future-Proofing Cubed, the definitive guide to improving productivity, refining processes, and bolstering profitability, where she shares her proven adaptive transformation framework to equip leaders to build self-reliant capabilities and navigate change without ongoing external dependency. Lisa's also the host of the Disrupt and Innovate so I'll say that again, Disrupt and Innovate podcast, where she interviews visionary thought leaders on emerging trends, disruptive leadership, and strategies for thriving amid uncertainty. And I'm honored to have been a guest on her show talking about humanity's most elevated future. It was a fascinating conversation. Lisa has turned her wisdom about critical yet often overlooked intersections of exit planning and succession, revealing practical tactics like treating succession as a leadership system and maturity journey, mapping career pathways to enhance retention, and protecting institutional knowledge into tactics that can truly future proof organizational value and longevity. I really wanted you to know what level of expertise you're about to get exposed to in saying all of this about Lisa. And with that said, Lisa, it's a delight to have you here on RHFY. Welcome.
David, thank you so much for having me here today. I am excited to have this conversation with you. We always have fun when we're together.
It's true. It's true. It's true. And in this first segment, we'll look at the symptoms of future proofing challenges in businesses, other organizations, communities, and movements that not nearly enough leaders recognize, let alone know what to do about. But first, Lisa, how did you initially become interested in business future proofing?
I spent the early part of my career working inside of organizations that were growing. Some of them, the last one that I actually was employed by was a startup, right? It was a rocket ship ready to take off. And yet they were so stuck in the way we've always done things, this old school look back mindset that held everybody back, that frankly, I had an adult temper tantrum and said, no more. I don't want to do this. This is stupid. And I don't use the word stupid often, but when I do, it's STOOOOOOPID, because, oh my God, why? And that was the beginning of the journey of taking all of the skills that you outlined so nicely, those capabilities I've developed, to use them with businesses differently.
Well, that's marvelous, and I'm glad you did. And of course, undesired situations often birth creativity, innovation, and new directions. So, in this episode's next segment, we'll get into root causes of future proofing deficits. But for the rest of this segment, as I already said, I want to find out from you, Lisa, what distressing symptoms most leaders experience or notice, but don't necessarily recognize as sustainability wake up calls.
So the first part of this is, right, understanding that exit is inevitable, right? In some way, shape, or form, every person inside of any business, organization, right, entity will at some point in time leave. We should be acknowledging that reality daily, because we should be planning for that, and we want that to happen for the right reasons when it's time. But as we owners, founders, leaders tend to overlook that reality, right? Because they are so committed to the here, the now, what they're building, why they're building it, the possibilities for the future, that then all of a sudden they're losing sleep at night and things feel a little bit fragile. Problems are repeating themselves over and over again. They solve them, and 6 months later they're fixing them again. And there's this sensation of, oh my gosh, it feels like it's a broken record. And that can be operationally, that can be sales, that can be so many different things, but everything starts to feel a little bit fragile. And I challenge that this is not a leadership shortcoming, and it is not a failure. It's a succession planning blind spot, because we're accepting that what we're doing now is okay, and we're not really focused on what it could be and what it should be in the future. And the things that, especially in a growing companies where we have people who wear their super people capes, that was easy for me to say. I tried super people capes, and they do the work of 3 people.
Yeah.
Well, that's not sustainable. And that can be in a startup. That could be something that's matured into a really large organization because those individuals are so good at doing so much more than any one human being should be contributing, that if they get sick, if they win the lottery, if something changes, that gap can be detrimental. And in some cases, I mean, it can kill a business.
Right. So that's a symptom that I want to underscore, and I want to hear more symptoms as well. Team members doing the work of three people is a symptom that the organization is actually not properly future proofing. And I'm not convinced, and I don't, in fact, let me say it in the positive. I am convinced that most leaders don't recognize that particular dynamic as a symptom of not doing future proofing. They don't connect the dots there. What other symptoms do leaders notice that they don't necessarily connect with future proofing issues or succession planning blind spots?
Well, it's also that sense of everybody's busy, but nothing's getting done, right? And this mindset that we come in at 8, we're physically present, we do all these things. I see everybody, but we're still not driving the results that we want, right? We're looking at the wrong things. We're looking at activity and not results, and relying on this sense of busy to give us a sense of completion. But then when we look at metrics and actual tangible outputs, they may not correlate because busy doesn't always equal result oriented. And for me, in those environments, I like to find the slackers in the room, the people who are quietly sitting off in the background and they look like they're not doing anything at all. Because those are the innovative people who have figured out how to work themselves around whatever processes and systems exist in the environment. They're getting their work done, but they're not even pretending to be busy about it because they are simply driving results. And so looking for the difference between I'm busy, 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 and somebody who is just sort of quietly flying maybe a little bit under the radar, trying to not draw too much attention to themselves, but they're totally not stressed out. Stressed people may not be driving the most value to your organization, but those clever ones who are figuring out how to make it work on their terms, they're your future efficiency, innovative leaders that you don't understand. And probably if you're a leader who's looking for busy rather than results, the most impactful employees are the ones you value the least.
Hmm. Well, yeah. So let me underscore these gems that you just dropped on us too. You've got dynamic of everyone seems busy, but nothing results oriented is getting done, or not enough of results oriented things are occurring. Busy doesn't mean providing value necessarily, and so that's, if you notice that, that's a symptom that is not always recognized as being connected with future proofing deficits. Stressed people is another symptom that. Great. So, Lisa, you have unpacked some really important additional symptoms that aren't necessarily connected by leaders with future proofing and succession planning blind spots. So you were saying that if everyone seems busy but results oriented output isn't occurring, that's a symptom that needs to be connected with future proofing deficits. Busy doesn't mean value providing. You you said you pointed out quiet slackers, which are often misdiagnosed as slackers. They're often innovative people who aren't being recognized as that because they're just off in their own worlds, actually being productive in value creating ways, but they're not, tooting their horns about it. And this is really different from what we know as quiet quitting, which is where people are actually disengaged. And then chronically stressed people. We've got these chronically stressed people. If you've got a climate, an organizational culture of chronic stress, you aren't future proofing your business. So these are really important symptoms that people are aware of, but don't necessarily connect with succession planning blind spots. And what I'll add as we come to the end of this segment is the Latin term memento mori, which means remember you're dying. Right. And in this case, I'm not trying to be, morbid, but in this case, it's really crucial because of the first thing you said in this segment, which is about exit being inevitable. Every person will at some point leave. And yet, people forget this because they're so involved in the day-to-day of the business that they lose track of the big picture. So the rest of this episode is going to dive into the root causes of the symptoms Lisa and I just described, what to look for in a solution, and Lisa's version of that solution in the final segment. After a short break, my guest, business future-proofing expert Lisa L. Levy, and I will dig beneath the surface to expose the root causes of future-proofing neglect. I'm Dr. David Gruder. This is the Reimagining Humanity's Future in Your show on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, and we'll be back momentarily. Welcome back. Before the break, a master of succession and exit planning, guest Lisa L. Levy, and I discussed symptoms businesses, other organizations, communities, and movements experience or know about, but don't necessarily associate with future-proofing deficits. In this segment, as you already know, we'll delve into under-recognized root causes of that kind of future-proofing neglect. So, Lisa, what are those under-recognized root causes of those symptoms?
So the root causes that we have to be concerned about, one is that as leaders, there's a hubris that what we're doing is adequate and that we are capable and everything that we do is the way it should be. And we get stuck in the way we've always done it. And that mindset holds everybody back. And that it causes so much pain because we get focused on business tools that are incredibly important when used well, become really awful when they're used poorly. And I'm talking about policies, processes, and procedures. Every business should have them. They are important. They are important for business operations. They are important for exit. They are incredibly critical for the overall valuation of a business when it is selling. But we get reliant on, oh, yeah, we did that 10 years ago. Everything's fine. But Joe is still training Sally, and Sally's training Mary, and nobody's looked at the process documentation in 10 years. That creates such a conundrum of what is really the right thing to do? What is the thing that drives value to our customers so that our business is doing work that adds value, that our products and services actually matter, and that we're not wasting time on stupid things that should have been set to the side 5 years ago, 5 months ago, 10 months ago, whatever that might be. There's common wisdom and in the process management world that 20 years ago we said and we believed that all processes should be evaluated on an annual basis. That's a pretty big undertaking when you really stop and think about it, but things do change. People come up with clever workarounds. Systems change, process steps can be removed, other things may have to be added in. In today's world, the common thinking is with the rate of change that we experience, we honestly could reevaluate our processes monthly. Not suggesting that that's a course of work that you all need to go, oh my God, we now need to go and change all of our processes every single month. What I am challenging in thinking is every time you change your process, you should document the change so that it's current and that you can train new people and everybody can grow and learn together and that you have that artifact that says this is how we run our business.
Mm-hmm. So let's see, we've got hubris, this notion that everything we've been doing up until now is the way it should continue to be, without really examining the question of whether the policies, processes, and procedures are actually continuing to serve value creation. And I refer to that as status quo addiction,
Mm.
right?
Right.
and and I think you're so right in pointing out that policies, processes, and procedures are critical, and they're only critical when they serve value creation, and only when they're actually utilized, and only when they're constantly evolving. So you've said something that might sound overwhelming to some people, which is that all processes should be evaluated far more often than annually. And I agree with you, because the rate of change is so fast that monthly would be more prudent. And fortunately, as you and I know, but not all leaders do, there are processes for evaluating things on an ongoing basis that aren't overwhelming, where we look at what's working well and even better ifs on an ongoing basis, so that the organization's culture is a learning based culture. It's an evolution based culture. Am I getting that right?
Absolutely. And can I take it a little bit further?
I wish you would.
All right. So let's play with this for a minute. So what you've just described is Six Sigma ongoing continuous improvement. These are really stodgy ideas that are painful to learn, to be certified in, and all of those things that I have invested that time and really don't like to talk about it because it puts people to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But with the rate of change we have today, with things, with AI, with new tools and systems that we can leverage, if we have the leadership mindset to want to be a learning organization and we want to continuously evolve, we can leverage things like AI to be that engine for our ongoing continuous improvement. So that as our employees do things and they may do them differently, the AI is the one that's actually learning, creating, and capturing the knowledge, refining the processes, and it becomes automated and not painful to any human at all. We have to oversee it. We have to make sure that we agree with what's being modeled and how it's being put forward. But we have ways of doing things today that a year ago weren't possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do have have ways of doing things today that were impossible a year ago, and the documentation is crucial. What you just described explains why documentation is crucial, because without that documentation, the AI tools don't have the information they need to make recommendations about upgraded procedures.
And as we build on that, let's talk about what policies, processes, and procedures actually document. That's typically in any organization, roughly 40% of the knowledge required to run that business. 40%. 60% of the most important institutional knowledge is tacit. It's inside my head, it's inside David's head, it's inside each of your heads, and it's actually never captured anywhere. But as we mature into this idea of having an AI companion and partner with us, it can start to capture those things that we would never have even thought about putting on paper. And those are the things that when we start, and we're tying this back to exit, and in this context, let me use exit as some sort of a sale of a business. This can change the valuation of your business 4x. A $1 million business, well documented, can be a $4 million business just by changing how they've documented and handle their policies, processes, and procedures.
Right.
It's a huge change.
Let's underscore that. There are lots of reasons why tacit knowledge needs to be captured ongoingly. And those have to do with the fact that when somebody leaves a role or somebody leaves a company, whoever replaces them in that role needs to not be starting from scratch. Everything, the legacy needs to be there and ready to be utilized. But even over and above the importance of that, when you aren't capturing tacit knowledge in an ongoing way, you're depriving yourself of higher valuation for your business, which could be important for selling it, for merger, for acquiring more investment funds. There's an endless list of reasons why this is important, and what you're saying is that, and I don't think you're exaggerating, and I want to make sure our audience knows that you're not being fluffy here. This change in how you capture tacit knowledge in an ongoing way can improve your company's valuation 4x, at least 4 times.
I've heard other numbers. 4x is a conservative number. It's the one that I use because everybody likes to hear 10x, but I don't know that we can always quantify that. 4x is a conservative estimate on what that could mean. Obviously, there are many factors that that influence the overall valuation of a business, but this is institutional knowledge, well documented, is probably the most undervalued asset on a balance sheet because nobody thinks about it.
Yes. And it's never too soon to start documenting institutional knowledge.
The earlier you start it in a business journey, the easier it is to maintain it. Right? If you build it in from the beginning as part of the business operating model, it is so much easier than to have to go, oh my gosh, we've been in business for 10 years. What do we do? How do we train? How do we bring people on? Starting small and building from the beginning makes this so much easier.
Right. And starting early is also about from the start. Again, memento mori, knowing your exit goals and your succession strategy is vital to be clear about from the start. The clarity can evolve and mature over time. That's totally fine, but not starting, the old Stephen Covey saying, begin with the end in mind. I think he almost got it right. I think what's more accurate is begin with the best possible end in mind. Right. And that's what you're talking about here. And this is a beautiful lead in to our next segment, which is going to be about what to look for in the way of a solution, because you've done a beautiful job of kind of laying the groundwork for that. Before we wrap up this segment, do you have one further, like 20-second soundbite to add about root causes?
Well, the one thought I would leave us with on this is understanding our processes gives us the power to choose when and how to break them. And that is a huge thing for leadership to know when we need to leave the past behind and jump forward. But you can't break the rules if you don't understand them.
Beautifully said, and so important. Leaders can't lead if they don't exercise that power to choose when and how to break how things have been. So after another short break, we will get to the heart of the matter, which is what generically to look for in a solution that most effectively future-proofs your business, other organization, community, or movement. And as I said in the final segment, we will touch on Lisa's version of that. But next segment is about what to look for. This is educational. So I'm Dr. David Gruder. This is the Reimagining Humanity's Future and Yours show on the X Zone Broadcast Network, and we will continue momentarily. And we're back. Before the break, my marvelous guest and C-suite network colleague, Lisa L. Levy, and I delved into less recognized but vitally important root causes of future-proofing neglect and succession planning blind spots. And as I mentioned in this segment, we will reveal the ingredients to look for when you've decided to optimize future proofing for your business, other organization, community, or movement. So, Lisa, what ingredients should leaders be looking for when they recognize at last the need for future proofing through wise, proactive succession and exit planning?
So the key to this is the mindset that succession planning is a system. It's not a replacement list. So high performing organizations, leaders don't sit around the table and go, who's going to replace whom when we retire? That's not the conversation. That's we'll call that one stupid. Well, we now know what I mean when I say stupid. The conversations that good leadership teams, high performing organizations have are around what capabilities will we need next that we don't have on our team today, but we want to have them because we know 6 months from now, a year from now, our business is going in a direction that is growing, evolving, and different, and we need to fill a gap before it exists. Conversations are going to stem around developing what are the development gaps that we have with our existing employees, and how do we help level them up? Because we're always going to bring in some new talent and new capabilities from the outside, but growing from within is so much more important. But it's not the only solution. So focusing on and understanding leadership pathways. What does it take to go from a recent college grad entering into this role, into this organization, for them someday to becoming the CFO, the CEO? What is that path? Documenting those out and making it apparent so that anybody who's employed in the organization can say, and I'm going to use this phrase very seriously, when I grow up, I want to be. I don't ever want to grow up, so that's why I'm no longer in corporate culture. But
that's why I say, if I grow up.
But when we look at the organizational maturity, we can envision, any employee can envision a path from where they are today to where they might want to be long term. That journey might be 10 years, because if they are an entry-level employee who has not finished a college degree and they want to be the CFO, there's education requirements. There are things that are going to take time. There are new roles in the organization and things that they're going to have to do, but there is a pathway for it if you sit down and figure it out. And that creates this mindset that succession is an ongoing thing. We've already talked about it as a learning organization, but we're also creating a culture of readiness. So many organizations think that succession planning is an emergency response plan to the, oh my God, somebody just won the lottery and they're gone. That's short-sighted, and it really devalues your employees. My son is a Gen Zer. He is a high performer. He is I want it all tomorrow mindset. And he had to make a career change unexpectedly, because sometimes that happens. And he's took a role inside of an organization that he knows is an incremental step to something else. But being the person that he is, he wants to make the most of it. And he asked his manager, how do I get to the next level in the organization? And her response was, well, you need to sit down and write up a performance plan on how you're going to do that. He called me and he said, I'm more than qualified for the next level in this organization. What do I do with this information? And my response to him was, remember, it was an incremental step, and this is not where you want to build your career. Because what leader turns to an employee who wants to grow and thrive and say, figure it out for yourself? No succession planning at all in the mindset of that culture in any way, shape, or form. Employees there are commodities that come and go. And that breaks my heart. Businesses, we have to be better than that.
Right. So the first element that you've covered is a mindset element, where succession planning is understood to be a system, not a replacement list, and where the mindset is about constantly or periodically, regularly asking, what capabilities will we need next that we don't have on our team today? Because oftentimes they weren't vitally needed before now, but now they're needed, or they're even better, they're going to be needed soon. And we're going to get ahead of the curve, identify what those needs are, identify what expertise can fill those needs, see if we have people already on the team who can level up into meeting those emerging needs, or if it's better with a particular set of emerging needs to hire from without. And then you moved from mindset, which is great, into skill set, which includes a bunch of things that I think you haven't articulated quite yet, but the ones you've already articulated are about how to level up the existing team, where you've identified leadership pathways, you've documented them and made them transparent so people can envision their own pathway forward, whether it ends up being with this company or entity or elsewhere. And you also identified a culture quality, which is about a culture of readiness, proactive, not crisis management. What other skills or other components should leaders be looking for when they're looking for a set of guidance about succession planning, and exit planning, and the things we're talking about? What else should they be looking for?
Well, as they're defining the mechanism for doing this, they're going to start to see people who are the future leaders of this organization. They're going to see the people who start to step up and ask questions, opt in, want to participate. And as much as I will always want to talk about how important it is that we invest in our current people, sometimes our current people aren't the right people long term. So it also starts to give us the view into those who are going to stay with us. Right? We're going to build that retention plan, and we're going to nurture and take care of those employees. But there's also some people along the way who are probably going to get off the bus, and that's okay. Sometimes they get off the bus and you're never going to see or hear from them again. But a friend of mine recently, he's a CEO of a large company. He said, I've got the director of accounting, and she just came in and she was giving her notice to take a CFO position at a smaller organization. And he was so excited that in the years that they'd been together, she'd grown her career and she was ready to take this step. Because inside of that their organization today, she's not ready for the CFO role. But in 5 years, when the current CFO might be ready to retire, she will have had that experience and be a viable candidate to come back in at that elevated role and bring back into an organization where she's spent 20 years of her career so far, the opportunity to bring in ideas from the outside experience and knowledge. And so when we really start looking at what we mean as we start creating this leadership system, this is about the long-term play. This isn't 3 and 6 months. It's not even necessarily 3 years. But some of these decisions, some of these paths may take a decade or more to mature. But when they do, the return on the investment to the employees and to the business itself are huge.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes. So another set of components to be looking for in the way of solutions are getting guidance in how to identify the people in your company that are actually showing up as future leaders to retain, and being on the lookout, or knowing how to recognize when someone has become a mismatch, even when they might have been a great match when they first came on board. As the business's needs or the entity's needs evolve, that goodness of fit may diminish or vanish. And no harm, no shame, no fault, no blame. But it's crucial to know how to evaluate that, how to be conscious of that. And then the other point you just made, that, oh my gosh, it is so priceless, and it's tacit knowledge that deserves to be explicit knowledge, is that people who are on your team who might leave could end up coming back later as greater assets for where your business has grown since they left because of the roles they've ended up filling elsewhere. So don't lose track of those promising people who leave. Stay in touch with them. Their time may come to come back into the organization. And then another thing to look for that you mentioned in a prior segment, and I just want to, I don't think we have to belabor it in this segment, but it deserves to be brought into what we're talking about, is people, leaders need help in deciding what AI to use to help with this and how to utilize that AI beneficially and cost effectively.
And one of the things I can close on the technology piece in this space, right? And I think we'll dive in deeper in a minute, but we can use technology to understand career paths. We can use them to build, some would call it a career ladder, an employee journey. There's lots of different words we can use. But once we're in this position where we're starting to look at who do we have today and where are they going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, technology obviously plays a part in helping us make that come to fruition, tracking the progress and keeping it all going.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So the point, the punchline is that there are a lot of things that are crucial to look for in the way of assistance when you have realized that succession planning and exit planning and leadership pathways, leadership development pathways, and documentation and all of that are absolutely crucial. And so after our upcoming break, we'll return for this episode's final segment, during which I'll be asking Lisa L. Levy to reveal how she develops future-proofing tactics for businesses and perhaps even other organizations, communities, and movements. But this is really important because not enough experts have the expertise that you have, Lisa. And so I'm Dr. David Gruder. This is the Reimagining Humanity's Future in Your show on the X Zone Broadcast Network, and we'll return shortly. Before the break, future-proofing wizardess Lisa L. Levy and I unpacked ingredients to look for when you want to effectively future-proof your business, organization, community, or movement. And as I already mentioned during this final segment of this episode called Reimagining Exit Planning, Succession Tactics that Future-Proof Organizational Success and Longevity, Lisa's going to reveal how she provides what we suggested in the last segment that you look for. I'll then let you know how to access her amazing resource, a gift that she's offering for helping you do this. And after that, Lisa and I will both share the big takeaway we each hope you've gained from this episode, followed by my closing comments. So, Lisa, how do you help leaders with future-proofing through proactive succession and exit planning?
Absolutely. So the first thing I want to acknowledge, right, is this is a journey, and every business and every organization, every movement, right, is in its own place on the journey, whether they realize it or not. It's a reality because everybody will at some point exit for some reason. And so it evolves, and we're here to help understand and meet our clients where they're at. And usually there's a specific pain that they have that we will start to solve for. But as we go through the experience, there's something that we like to do with all of our clients to build them in to get this moving. And it has almost nothing to do with succession planning or exit strategy in any way, shape, or form. And it starts with innovation. And it starts with the idea of treasuring ideas from our employees and creating the foundation for culture so that we are comfortable talking about things. Everybody has ideas. Everybody has good ideas. Sometimes they're not so great ideas. Sometimes they're really just not, they're crazy. They're just not achievable. But those are fun to play with because this starts to create a culture where we are driving forward for innovation. And ideas are I like to call them, right, they're the seeds of the business's future. And if we don't have a continuous flow of new ideas, businesses will stall and we will get stuck in the addiction of the status quo. And ultimately, that will bring on the demise of any business, because today's results will not sustain any entity tomorrow, next year, or 10 years from now. So we do an innovation engine exercise with all of our clients where we do the ideation and we break people into teams to look at and pick ideas to do thought experiments with, to take the craziest of the crazy and play in a room together and figure out how they could possibly make that idea come to fruition, and how does it drive a value to the end customer or client. And all of this starts to change the mindset and the thinking and get everybody focused on the idea of value to customer. It's not about me. It's not about my idea. It's about what it means to somebody else. And after we go through some of the play and the prototyping, the conference room prototyping, where we're investing time, not money, not R&D, this is a time investment and a thought exercise, then we might take one or two of them to leadership and say, hey, these are some experiments that might be valuable to the organization. Let's let a team play with this one. This is an innovation engine, and it's a tool that we want all of our businesses to use because it creates thinking, and it stimulates critical thinking, it creates teamwork, cross-functional teamwork, and it sets the stage for identifying future leaders. There are people in this exercise who are going to naturally be the idea people. There are people who are going to rise and be the execution people. They understand how to get it done. And in a very fun, value additive way, we as a leadership team are learning a lot about our employees. And that then sets the stage for us to start introducing the idea of, we're building out career paths. We are investing in your future for the business's future, for the customer's benefit. And here's what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we're going to do it. My team, every interaction that we've had with clients has been unique and different from every other client's. So it's one of those things that, yep, we do this a lot, but what we did for one group will never look the same as we do it with another group, because the businesses are different, the employees are different, and where they're at in the journey is unique. So it is something that's very special. But as we get into building then that succession planning framework, there are tools, right? We've talked about artificial intelligence. We've talked about different technology platforms. There are things that we can bring in, and depending on the size and the scope of the company, right, those are going to be different. And we find the best fit for each environment so that it is really specifically focused on the results that our clients are looking for. And no two solutions have ever been identical. It's a fun way to change culture. And that's the thing that's been most impactful for us. While whatever our entry point is, there's always a path that we end up following for the benefits that that business needs. And we tie it all back to making decisions that are in the best interest of their clients or their customers.
Exactly. And lest people misunderstand this as an infomercial, what you've just dropped is more of what to look for no matter who someone utilizes. So treasuring ideas from your employees and establishing a culture where sharing these is welcome, and they have fun playing with them. These aren't only the seeds for the business's future, they're the seeds for identifying future leaders. And these innovation exercises, any company can do if they have the expertise. If they don't have the expertise, they need to bring in you or someone like you in order to help them build this literacy, so that you are always bringing to leadership the most viable brainstorms that have only been developed through time invested, not money invested yet, for the leaders to determine which of those they want to invest money in with R&D. And when that's built into and that's baked into the culture of a business, every time that's going on, you're adding to the business's value, its valuation, right? And the other thing that's a what to look for is, don't ever engage a company, a consultant, to help you with this if they are doing a one size fits all approach. It's got to be tailor made, that is the best fit to your culture and your goals and where you are in the business's development right now. So, as a thank you for tuning into this episode, Lisa has graciously gifted you with an opportunity to get her customized future proofing recommendations and overcoming your succession planning and exit strategy challenges, a kind of an exploration call that's of value in and of itself, whether you engage her or not. And Lisa's URL for directly booking time with her is too long to remember. So I set up a simple forwarder link to her website's contact page, which is thecess.com/talkwithleader. Lisa, rather, Talk with Lisa. THECESS.com for the Center for Enlightened Self-Sovereignty /Talk with Lisa, all one word. While you're there, I encourage you to make a point of also exploring her entire Lcubed consulting website. So if we can bring Lisa back on, I'd love to hear your quick soundbite about what the big takeaway from this episode is that you would like people to walk away with. Just one very short, non-run-on sentence. What's the takeaway?
Yeah. Succession planning is a journey that all businesses are on, whether they know it or not. And once the leadership team takes control, it will change everything for the business.
Love it. And mine is, it's never too soon to get clear about your succession plan and exit goals, or to proactively start implementing what needs to be implemented in order to achieve those goals. So again, book time with Lisa through the forwarding link that I created, thecess.com/talkwithlisa, and also explore while you're there her Lcubed consulting website. Thank you so very much, Lisa, for helping us illuminate the hidden keys to future proofing and for being here on my show.
Absolutely my pleasure, David. Thank you for sharing the stage with me.
And likewise back at you. And thank you all for joining me for this episode of Reimagining Humanity's Future and Yours on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. This has been David Gruder, the polymath of human potential and societal psychotherapist and futurist, who equips leading edge leaders, influencers, and you with impactful resilience that makes it possible for humanity's most spiritually elevated future to at last emerge. And I am so excited that I just have to very quickly do this. I just received the first printed copy of my next trilogy of books. This is an all-in-one copy of it, the Spark Trilogy. So it will become available, and I just wanted to show you the book cover because it just arrived before recording this episode. I invite you to explore my main website, drgruder.com. That's drgruder.com, where you'll find a link to watch or listen to all of this show's episodes, as well as a link to the Center for Enlightened Self-Sovereignty, which is helping to dissolve divisiveness by reuniting individuals, nations, businesses, and humanity so we can at last usher in the age of what I call self-sovereignty that serves us all. Now, some of these episodes are, in fact, business-oriented. Others are self-development oriented. Some of them are societally oriented. So I really encourage you to go into the vault of of episodes that, again, are available through drgruder.com, so that you can see which episodes are on topics that are valuable to you, because I promise you there's something for everyone there who values an elevated future for humanity. So, in closing, the world needs you. Your nation needs you. Your loved ones need you. You need you. Boost your impact in helping the future you most want to emerge. I enthusiastically invite you to tune in next time for another spellbusting, uplifting, and actionable episode on how together we can and will build a better future for ourselves and for humanity.